Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to cover a couple of topics, the first of which is the wrap-up of my weekend at CTSR at Roche, which is a three-day large event in Montreal. Beautiful facilities, top-notch, black carpet, and yeah, just overall an amazing experience with really, really stiff competition. I didn't really go into it with high expectations, given that I'm just starting with racing and also the caliber of racers that were supposed to be there. So I just went there for the experience and to have a lot of fun. So just to review, I entered my 22 X-Ray X4, currently in USGT spec, but I entered it in the 21.5 touring car class. So this USGT spec motor is a 21.5 turn motor, but it's also locked timing. So I kind of entered the class with a little bit of a disadvantage, but the biggest difference was the tires. So in USGT, we run the Gravity treaded tires, and then for the 21.5 touring car, they were hand-out slick tires. So the car overall handled much differently, especially given the fact that it was on black carpet. So quite the steep learning curve. And then I was also using my touring car body, which is considerably different than the USGT body. I'm not sure exactly how much difference there was from a handling perspective and aerodynamics, but overall it was a very challenging experience adapting to the new setup of the car. I also ran my X-Ray X12 in the GT12 class. That was a lot of fun. A couple folks there from Smith Falls that I had stiff competition with did quite well there. And then I also ran my Tamiya TTGT TTO2 car. Currently not here. It's getting serviced at another place. But so a couple of big takeaways from the weekend. First of all is black carpet. So black carpet is much different than the gray that I'm used to in Smith Falls. So the handling characteristics of the cars were much different. The second piece is the technical requirements. So in Smith Falls, we have rules with the cars about the weight, about the ride height, about the battery voltage, but we don't check. It's kind of honor system, gentleman's rules. Whereas at CTSR, your car was teched before every race. So you had to bring it to a table. They would measure the ride height. They would measure the battery voltage. They would weigh the car to make sure it was the minimum weight. So that's something I was not used to at all. So you had to be very diligent and precise with the setup of your car to make sure that you were within spec, because if it was not, you were not allowed to race. So that kept me on my toes all weekend. But overall, the cars were dialed in. The ride height was great. I got them to weigh the proper weight, and my battery charger was charging the batteries to the proper voltage. So very happy there. So overall, again, an extremely great experience with the crew that we traveled with from the Ottawa Valley. There was 4 or 5 of us there. We were all in the pits together, so we were able to share information and share parts. I had one little incident with the GT12, hit the wall, which caused a strip out of the spur and pinion gear in my drive. So I was able to leverage some spares from a fellow racer, and I've since gone out and bought some spares, so that won't happen again. I'll always have spares on hand. So overall, a really, really great experience. The second thing we're going to talk about is my new Mini Z, or my 1/28 scale pan car. This is an Atomic MRX. So I've been eyeing one of these for quite some time, and I finally kind of had the guts to go buy one on a Black Friday sale just before Thanksgiving. And I finally got it put together over the last 2 days, now that all of the electronics have come in the mail with the postal strike we've had in Canada. I test drove it last night, and let me say, this thing is on a whole different level than my box stock MA03 or MR03 Mini Z. So this thing's running on AAA batteries. This thing is on a 2S LiPo with a 3500 kilovolt brushless motor. So completely different beast. And I'm still dialing in all of the settings and getting used to driving it, but so far a lot of fun. So right now I have it set up with the body post for the Lexan body. I test fitted that body today, and that's gone away for painting. hopefully with a shade that will closely match my MR03. So I'll have two white Mini Zs. In the meantime, last night I was running it with the hard body, McLaren body from what used to be on this car, just to zip it around the track, just to get an appreciation for how it handled. Had a lot of fun with it, just dialing in the settings with my radio. Interestingly enough, my Radio Master MT12, so this is the 4-in-1 radio. So what I will say is this radio binds with the stock Kyosho Mini Z receiver, and then I also picked up a Futaba compatible FHSS receiver, which this can also bind to. So this radio runs both cars out of the box. So that's super convenient, and each have their own independent settings. This MT12 radio is awesome. I also use that radio with all of my race cars that I was racing in Montreal. What I will say is the stock wheels that come with the model. So I believe it's a 0 or a +1 offset on the front, and then a 1 or 2 offset on the rear. I have to confirm that. I found it was still a little bit narrow in the rear, both with this hard body and also with the Lexan body that I bought. So what I did is I had some 3mm offset rear wheels that I put on the back, hence the mismatching color. However, the fronts I need to stick with the stock wheels because the front end on this car is considerably wider than the MR03 as far as how the uprights and the axles are. So I can't run wider offsets on the front or else it sticks out and rubs on the body. So I'm gonna have to stick with those stock wheels for now until I can get matching ones for the rear. So 3mm offset in the rear, and I believe it's 0 or 1 in the front. But overall, this thing is a little rocket on a 2S LiPo, which interestingly enough, I was able to find an adapter for my Genzace charger. So I can use the charger that I use with my other cars, and I'm able to charge that 2S LiPo using this little cable. So that's super convenient. So anyway, that's an update. So I'm going to really be diving into the Mini Z racing season now that I've got both cars up and running, especially the Atomic MRX. Really looking forward to getting that underway. There is a race on the 28th of December, and I'll certainly be reporting back on how that shapes out. I'll definitely be running the Lexan body. I should be getting that back from paint very soon. And then in the meantime, I'll switch this guy back to USGT spec and run that one in Smith Falls at the beginning of January, and I'll be sure to report back. So thanks for watching, everybody. Please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you like what you see, and I'll see you in the next video.